Welcome to Adjust Your Mirrors, the #1 empowerment podcast show on the planet. Are you in need of motivation? Are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Then you've come to the right place. Adjust Your Mirrors. This is the podcast that's devoted to helping you see more clearly by making small adjustments. And now, here's your host, Reginald C. Allen.
Hey. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Adjust Your Mirrors. I am your host, Reginald C. Allen. Just thanking all of you again for tuning in. Ow! Thank you, and thank you. Family, 2020, new year, new me, right? We hear all that all the time. New year, new me. Family, okay, let's talk about it. If it's going to be a new year, which it is a new year, if it's going to be a new you, the question is this: what about your relationships? Are they going to be new? Because if you're going to become a new person, trust and believe you're going to have to hang around new people. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is true. Family, 2020 is going to be the year where we need to stretch ourselves when it comes to our relationships. Now, I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but I know it's hard to separate from people that we grew up with. I know it's hard from separating from people that we've known for a long period of time. But family, if it's going to be a new year, which it is, but if it's going to be a new you, if you're going to become a better version of yourself, you're going to have to also look at your relationships, and you're going to have to be honest. Are they bringing me up, or are they holding me down? And if they're holding you down, family, come on. It's not rocket science. We know that if there are things that are slowing us up, if we are involved in different relationships that are hindering us from moving forward, it might be the time. Now, listen, I'm not telling you to just wake up and call everyone, hey, man, I can't hang out with you anymore. You're slowing me down. No. We're not in that business. But I am telling you, family, 2020 is the year of courage. And courage is the power to let go of the familiar. What are you familiar with? And most of the time, it's relationships. And it's crazy because when I was in the youth sector, right, when I would go to these youth homes and all these youth programs and stuff, I always talked about relationships, peer pressure. But listen, and we make that seem to be a problem just with teenagers. No, that is also a problem with adults. Relationships. Okay? Family, some of us are in relationships that are toxic, and it's time to move them out of the way. Get out the way. It's time. So look, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to become? And then you got to say, okay, how am I going to get there? Who's in the way? You got to have courage, family. And you have to start with your relationships. Again, this is going to be the year where we walk in courage. We're going to let go of the familiar. And number one, we're going to hang out with people that are inspired. Again, I'm not telling you to call them, hey, man, you don't fit this qualification. Hey, man, you don't fit this qualification. Hey, man, you don't fit this qualification, so I'm going to have to let you go. No, I'm not saying that. That's not what we're going to do, okay? But we're going to be mindful. The people that are around you, are they inspired? Do they have the courage? Do they want to make a difference in this world? Or is it all about them? They'll see a homeless person on the street and they'll feel led to give this homeless person some money or something to eat. And instead of just doing that, they'll say, hey, man, let me take a picture so I can let everyone on social media know what I'm doing. Man, we don't want to hang out with people like that. Come on, man. It's not about you. Those type of people are mediocre. We don't want to hang around mediocre people. We want to be around people that are inspired because you know what? Iron sharpens iron. And when you hang around people that are inspired, guess what they're going to do? They're going to inspire you to do what you've been created to do. So, are they inspired? Are they passionate? Are they passionate when it comes to pursuing their goals? Are they passionate about pursuing their purpose? Are they excuse-free? So many people that we're around, they have excuses. Well, I would try to do this, but I just can't. I lack the resources. Do you guys remember a couple of episodes ago when I talked about this man in the Bible who had been sick for like 30 years, and Jesus looked at him and said, bruh, will thou be made whole? Right? How long are you going to be in that situation? And instead of saying, I receive my healing, the first thing the guy does is, well, Jesus, I don't have anyone to help me. He was full of excuses. Family, we cannot be around people that are full of excuses. People who are passionate, they are excuse free. What is it that you've been called to do? What have you been purposed to do here in life? What is your universal assignment? You gotta be passionate, and you can't live your life full of excuses. You have to be willing to take a risk. People who are passionate are devoted to their dreams. Family, you hear me talk about it all the time. We're going to accomplish everything that God created for us to accomplish. But we have to be passionate, and we have to be around other people who are passionate. Can't be around people who are apathetic, half-hearted, placid. We can't be around those type of people and expect them to encourage you, because you're always using your energy to encourage them because they're full of excuses. Well, I would do this, but this is stopping me, and I don't have the resources, and I don't have the connections. Family, passionate people are excuse free. So let's look around. Ask yourself, my Mötley Crüe. I don't know. Hold on. Speaking of the title, I have no idea why I named it Mötley Crüe. I guess Mötley Crüe, is your crew, right? The people that you hang around. And speaking of Mötley Crüe, how many of you guys remember the song? I'm on my way. Yes, I'll be free. Home, sweet home. Anyway, family, you're going to be on your way, right? You want to reach your goals. You're on your way. You got to hang around the right crew. You got to hang around those people who are going to encourage you, those people who are inspired, those people who are passionate, and those people who are motivated. What do you mean? What is motivated? Motivated is people who are committed to lifelong learning. You cannot continue to be a person who has made up in their mind that I'm going to accomplish my goals, and yet you're around people who are complacent, who are lukewarm, who are disinterested in life, and they have no desire to commit to any programs that's going to encourage them to be better, or any program that's going to stretch them. There's always more to know and understand. This what Adjust Your Mirrors is all about. It's about engaging in self-reflection. We should look in the mirror and say, okay, what is it that I can do differently than I did yesterday? Those are the type of people you want to be around, because you're taking this journey and you're constantly engaging in self-reflection, but yet you think you're going to accomplish your goals if you're hanging around other people who refuse to do that. It's 2020 and you're around people who still have 1950 and 1960 mindsets. You can't continue to be around people who refuse to grow, who refuse to commit to lifelong learning, right? You can't do that. We want to be around motivated people. Why? Because we're motivated. We're motivated to accomplish our goals. That's why we're committed to lifelong learning. That's why we're committed to different programs and reading and studying. But yet you're hanging around folk that have no desire in life to do nothing. They're complacent, lukewarm. Even Jesus in the Bible, he said, listen, man, I can't really deal with you because you're lukewarm. I would rather have you to be hot or cold, but you being lukewarm, there's nothing I can do with you. At least if you're hot, cool. At least, because if you're hot, bam, cool. If you're cold, there's always room to grow. There's room to get to you and say, hey, listen, man, you're cold. Maybe if you implement some of these principles, we can get you to where you're hot. But if you're just like stuck in the middle, What can I do with you? Family, we can't hang around people who are lukewarm. We want to be around people who are motivated, because you know another thing about motivated people? They ignore the naysayers. As you would say, the haters. If you're around someone who's constantly talking about, man, they hating on me, man, run from them people, man. No, listen, man, I don't care who's hating on me. Family, you shouldn't care who's hating on you, because we're too busy doing what God has called us to do. Sure, there's going to be people hating, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on the journey. We're focused on the task at hand. If you're around people and they have the time to sit around and count and calculate all the haters, listen, they're not busy, and you don't want to be around them, because you know what they're going to do? Those are the type of people that they're so focused on the haters and, man, this person hating on me, dog. This person hating because, listen, those are the type of people that are going to get you distracted. I like what my good friend Sean told me one time. He said, you know what, man, we all get distracted, right? But the problem isn't really getting distracted. The problem begins when we marry the distraction. And I said, well, what do you mean, brother? He said, if you get into a covenant relationship with distractions, you will never fulfill your purpose. Family, the only way we're going to stay motivated is if we commit to being around people who are inspired, commit to being around people who are passionate, and commit to being around people who are motivated. I know it's hard to cut ties with people that we grew up with. I know it's hard to cut ties with people who have been there for 10, 20 years. I know it's hard. But you know what's harder is you knowing that you've been purposed to do something in life and you fail to accomplish it because of relationships. Look at your relationships. Be honest with yourself. And if you can honestly say to yourself, I know that these relationships are hindering me, they're holding me back, they're weighing me down, then you know what to do. I grew up in Monroe, Michigan, and I remember being like 12 or 13, and we used to say, you know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know what to do. Family, you know that I know that you know that I know that you know what to do, okay? So with that being said, be empowered.
Thank you for listening to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast with Reginald C. Allen. Be sure to visit the Adjust Your Mirrors private Facebook group, and don't forget to follow Reginald on Twitter at Reginald C. Allen. Please remember, when you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating review. Until next time, be empowered.